Namaskar, मैं लायन Dr. Raju Manwani along with Lion Navdeep Nigam welcome each and every one of you in episode number 233 Soul of Lion. By Lions Club of Mumbai Soul, Leo Club of Mumbai Soul, Vishwa Sindhi Seva Sangam, Property Anthem India Private Limited, Lion Nirmal Jain sir from Khanvi Resort Silvassa, Lion Alok Harlalka from Gritex Mumbai, and Lion Kishore Parwani from Africa. ये एपिसोड में हम उन हस्तियों को लेकर आते हैं जो लायंस क्लब के एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफिसर्स, इंटरनेशनल डायरेक्टर, पास्ट इंटरनेशनल डायरेक्टर्स, गवर्नर्स एंड दोज हु हैज रियली अचीव्ड अ लॉट इन लायनिज्म। हमें मौका मिलता है उनसे बातचीत करने का। और आज हमारे बीच एक ऐसी हस्ती आ रही हैं जिन्हें मैं बहुत एडमायर करता हूँ। शी इज लाइक अ मोर देन सिस्टर टू मी एंड द वे शी हैज परफॉर्म एज अ Lion member, as an international director, as a district governor, or as a former minister of Sindh. I salute her the way she is. आज उनसे बात करके आपको लगेगा कि इस हस्ती को हम लोगों ने आज दोबारा क्यों रिपीट किया है बहुत सालों के बाद, क्योंकि हमारा भी दिल नहीं भरा था और पिछली बार कई सवाल रह गए थे। और स्पेशली माय यंग लीडर लायन नवदीप निगल वांटेड टू टॉक टू हर अ लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस, सो आई सेड कि आज हम हमारी बहन नीलोफर बख्तियार जी को फिर एक बार तकलीफ देंगे। आप नीलोफर जी से कुछ भी सवाल कर सकते हैं, वो यहीं इसी स्क्रीन पर हम आपको उनके जवाब लेकर के देंगे। ये जो नंबर आपकी स्क्रीन के ऊपर है, टाइप कर सकते हैं, व्हाट्सएप कर सकते हैं। और अगर ये एपिसोड अभी आप न देख पा रहे हो और रात को देखना चाहें तो यूट्यूब पर जाकर के लाइक, शेयर, सब्सक्राइब करते हुए ये सारे एपिसोड देखिएगा, लेकिन ये आज का एपिसोड जरूर देखिएगा। कमेंट पास करिएगा, सवाल पूछिएगा। शो के बाद भी उन सवालों के जवाब हम लेकर के आप तक जरूर पहुंचाएंगे। ये प्रोग्राम जो कि अब हमारा 157 कंट्रीज में लाइव टेलीकास्ट होता है और पिछले 5 साल के अंदर ये हमारी ऑडियंस जो सारे प्रोग्राम देख चुकी है वो अप्रोक्सीमेटली 71 करोड़ प्लस क्रॉस कर चुकी हैं। लास्ट संडे का जो हमें कैलकुलेशन हमारे टेक्निकल डायरेक्टर दिखा रहे हैं, थैंक यू सो मच प्रदीप भैया। लायंस क्लब ऑफ मुंबई सोल, लियो क्लब ऑफ मुंबई सोल एंड विश्व सिंधी सेवा संगम, जिनकी बदौलत इन हस्तियों से हमें मिलने का मौका मिलता है। विश्व सिंधी सेवा संगम जिनके 7 इंटरनेशनल कन्वेंशन हो चुके हैं और 8वां इंटरनेशनल कन्वेंशन होटल ताज भोपाल में 9, 10, 11 जनवरी 2026 को होने जा रहा है। डिटेल आपकी स्क्रीन पर है और मैं नवदीप को इंट्रोडक्शन के बुलाऊं उसके पहले 30 सेकंड का एक छोटा सा वीडियो हमारे 8वें इंटरनेशनल कन्वेंशन का मैं मेरे टेक्निकल डायरेक्टर से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि वो उसे दिखाएं। प्रदीप भैया, ओवर टू यू। थैंक यू वेरी मच प्रदीप भैया। माय यंग डायनामिक लीडर लायन नवदीप निगम से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि प्लीज इंट्रोड्यूस अवर टुडेज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट वांटेड लीडर ऑफ द लायनिज्म, लायन नीलोफर बख्तियार। ओवर टू यू नवदीप।
Thank you, Raju sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, emphasizing on the fabulous February ensemble that we've had this particular year, we are here today with yet another episode, and we have with us today a lion who has been an incredible source of inspiration while having conducted herself in the most distinctive and fantastic, diligent manner around the world in the Lionistic fraternity and otherwise. Her Lionism journey began in 1982 as a member of the Savan Valley Lions Club, and she went on to hold numerous significantly integral positions within the organization. Some of the more pertinent ones were the club president, the region chairman, the council chairman, and the district governor. Well, she also served as the chairman of the Prevention of Diabetic Blindness Center and has pioneered the creation of several Lions schools and a school for mentally handicapped children also. Or to such substantial contribution towards Lionism, she was finally elected to serve as the international director of the Lions Clubs International at the association's 82nd International Convention held in San Diego, California, in the United States of America in June 1999. She also created a Lioness district with 23 Lioness clubs, a Leo district with 18 Leo clubs, and a Lions district with 30 Lions clubs, which was any which way a remarkable achievement. In recognition to her service to the association, she has also been conferred with numerous awards and accolades, some of them being the 100% Club President Award, the 4 Leadership Awards, 3 Presidential Medals, 7 International Presidential Certificates, and the Ambassador of Goodwill Award, also, which is also the highest honor the association bestows upon its members. Adding on to this, she's also a Melvin Jones Fellow. Well, in addition to her Lionistic activities, she's also active in numerous professional and community based organizations. She serves on the board of directors of the National Women University, as well as several other colleges and institutions. She's a member and the Government Price Control Committee, the National Film Censor Board, and the National Fund for Culture and Heritage. She represented her country at the United Nations Women's Conference in Beijing, China, and at the World NGO Conference at the United Nations headquarters in New York, United States of America. If that is not all, ladies and gentlemen, she's an achiever, someone whom we all admire. It's my absolute privilege to call upon International Director, 1999 to 2001, Lion Nilofer Bakhtiar, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Namaste and Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
Delighted
salam.
to be here on your show and happy to see you.
This is a great honor, and you'll be very happy, Nilofarji, today. Navdeep, as he told you, 23 new Lions Club and 18 Leo clubs. Now he is going to talk to you about this Leos like anything after some time. So anyhow, thank you so much, Navdeep. Kindly please be there with us. I am going to give it after 10-15 minutes. I will talk to her, and then 100% you are going to talk to her also. Navdeep is incoming leader. I must tell you, director, he is very, very, very intelligent and talented. After talking to him, you will come to know the way he has achieved in Lionism so many things. Person like you, whom we admire, I admire, the way you have done in Lionism, my sister Nilofer, I can never ever forget about these things. And it's a great honor for us
You
that
biased, you're biased, Raju, because you're my brother and my friend, so you're biased.
no, it's
आप
true.
ज्यादा कर रहे हो
It's
कुछ नहीं
not
किया
me, Niloferji, not only me. Believe me, all over the India, Lions, they miss you a lot. And they're really waiting the day you start coming back to our India and have a lot of installations. What we did in the past together will be a great, great, great. I'm telling you the achievements for Lions of the India. Anyhow, thank you very much, Nilofer जी. आज क्योंकि काफी नई ऑडियंस भी हमारे साथ है, वो नीलोफर जी के बारे में थोड़ा सा जानना चाहती हैं कि नीलोफर जी की एजुकेशन, उसके बाद लायनिज्म आपने कैसे ज्वाइन किया, एंड देन यू वेंट टू द पॉलिटिक्स आल्सो, लॉट ऑफ एनजीओज आल्सो. आपके बारे में थोड़ा सा इंफॉर्मेशन मैं चाहूंगा कि आप हमारे ऑडियंस को दें. ओवर टू यू.
Thank you. Lions clubs I joined about 40 years ago. And before that, I was also in student politics. मैंने जब मास्टर्स किया वो अमेरिका से किया. I went to Carnegie Mellon for public administration. Okay. And I also did my hotel and tourism management from Cornell University, New York. So I went out twice for higher education. The rest of the education was done in Pakistan. मैंने metric presentation convent रावलपिंडी से किया और कॉलेज मेरा सीबी कॉलेज रावलपिंडी था. I was the college president, college secretary. I always fought the college elections. So मुझे शौक था पॉलिटिक्स का बचपन से ही. और मैंने जब लायंस ज्वाइन किया, this was after there was a very big tragedy in Islamabad and Pindi. And in that disaster, I came across this NGO which was serving the people. Okay. और मैंने देखा कि इतने मुश्किल वक्त में पाकिस्तान के लोगों को येलो जैकेट्स में कुछ लोग हेल्प कर रहे हैं. सो आई रीच्ड आउट टू देम एंड आई सेड आप कौन हैं? तो उन्होंने कहा हम लायंस हैं. तो मैंने कहा मैं भी यही काम कर रही हूँ, बट आई वुड लाइक अ प्लेटफॉर्म। तो उन्होंने कहा आप हमारे साथ आ जाइए, एंड देन
True.
आई स्टार्ट वर्किंग विद देम। ये ओजरी कैंप का एक डिजास्टर हुआ था, जिसमें
Okay.
बहुत सारा एमुनेशन का एक डिपो था, बहुत बड़ा, वो ब्लास्ट हो गया था। तो उसमें हंड्रेड्स एंड थाउजेंड्स ऑफ पीपल वर किल्ड अनफॉर्चुनेटली, और उसके बाद बहुत सारे होमलेस थे, बहुत सारे वुंडेड थे। तो उनको फिर बहुत लंबा टाइम के लिए सर्विस की ज़रूरत थी। तो गवर्नमेंट अलोन कुड नॉट हेल्प देम, दे नीडेड अ लॉट ऑफ वॉलंटियर्स। So that was how I was picked up by the Lions clubs. And then I became the president and the district president and governor, and then reached the top. Then I became ambitious and I said I have to reach the board, because there was no woman on the board of Lions International. And I said, look, I have to create history. I like doing these things, Raju, you know me.
Of
So I
course.
said, I have to break the glass ceiling, and I have to make it to the top. So God was kind, and friends like yourself. And I must reiterate that I was supported by the Lions and leadership of India. I will never forget the role played by past International President Rohit Mehta
Yeah.
and past International President Ashok Mehta.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
are not in this world anymore, but they
Yeah.
will always remain as my mentors in Lionism.
No doubt.
I
No doubt.
love them. I love them still. And whenever I need guidance in life, I look up to my experiences with those great leaders. I've learned so much from them.
No doubt.
So
No doubt.
that is my Hellenistic journey. And I'm so happy कि जहाँ से मैंने स्टार्ट लिया था 99 में, आज इंटरनेशनल में दो महिलाएं इंटरनेशनल प्रेसिडेंट बन चुकी हैं,
Yeah. Of course.
और
Yes.
बोर्ड में हर साल कुछ ना कुछ लोग, खवातीन ज़रूर इंटरनेशनल डायरेक्टर बन के आती हैं. सो इट्स अ
No
वेरी
doubt.
बिग अचीवमेंट, एंड आई फील दैट journey just begins and then it is endless, you know. So अभी आप देखिएगा कितने और बड़े बड़े माइलस्टोन्स महिलाएं, खवातीन अचीव करेंगी लाइन इंटरनेशनल में.
No
लेकिन
doubt about it.
so proud of them.
But Nilofer, you were the first lady director in Lions Club International.
Yes, I was the first, and I'm very proud of this fact, because coming from a small country, and people thought that since I was coming from Pakistan and Pakistan did not have a huge number of lions, I will not be able to make it as the first. But then my consistent effort and the support of all the SAARC countries, you know, major support came from India. मैं फिर repeat करूँगी, Indians lion मुझे बहुत support किया, और फिर बाकी SAARC countries, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. So I owe it to all of these countries, and I owe this to my area. And I'm very proud of the fact that we took the lead. Europe and America put up their female international directors after us. So I'm proud of this fact.
नीलोफर, आपके और मेरे भीष्म में पितामह और द्रोणाचार्य जो रोहित भाई और अशोक भाई थे, वो बताया करते थे कि आज 1999 2000, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट 24 इयर्स बैक, कि जब आप बोर्ड में एंट्री लेती थी तो वहां पे एम्बुलेंस और डॉक्टर्स को बुलाया जाता था.
लेडीज के लिए वॉशरूम्स नहीं थे. पहला सर्टिफिकेट जो मुझे मिला तो उस पे लिखा था मिस्टर नीलोफर बख्तियार.
Oh
So
God.
I had to go and tell them that you have to remove this R and put an S. I can be a Ms. or a
Oh,
Mrs. or a Miss, but not Mr.
but
So
honestly,
बहुत सारे problems.
नीलोफर, हम आपके बारे में इंटरनेशनल पे बहुत कुछ सुनते रहते हैं. I mean, the boldness and beauty and mind and the dedication and what you have achieved, very honestly, I must tell you, the people still, they keep talking about, there was Nilofer Bakhtiar. She has done a lot for the Lions Club International, and we salute you for that.
Thank
Nilofer,
you.
you were
God bless.
the minister also in Pakistan.
Yes, I've been a federal minister
Okay.
twice in Pakistan. The first time I was the minister for women development, social welfare, and special education. I had three portfolios. And
Oh,
again, I would say that I got these portfolios, especially social welfare and special education, because I had been with the Lions Clubs International. मेरा जो social work था, जो मेरी social service थी, that led me to this fame and glory within my country. People started recognizing me. The government picked me up because I worked selflessly at the grassroots level as a lion.
that's right.
Second time, I became the tourism minister.
That's right.
Tourism is also my passion because I studied tourism and hotel
Correct.
management.
Correct. Correct.
So,
Correct.
according to my professional education, I served as tourism minister. But during my tourism ministership, I had a religious fatwa against me, which you all know about. And
Yes,
I
I.
had to quit from my cabinet position and I had to leave my government job. And then I remained out of politics. But then I became the head of the Red Cross in Pakistan. And
Okay.
simultaneously, I served in the Senate of Pakistan. And I also started my own civil society organization, which is still functional. इसका नाम है राजू जी टॉलरेंस टॉलरेंस में
Oh,
हम कहते हैं यूनाइटिंग फॉर पीस एंड नॉन वायलेंस
okay.
टॉलरेंस में आई वर्क फॉर communities from minorities or women and children. I work for the uplift of these communities who need help and support. So I've now dedicated my life to this kind of work. I've seen enough as the federal minister and being in government. I served my 3 years term as the chairperson of the National Commission on the Status of Women in July last year.
Okay.
And after being in government for so long, I now work as a humanitarian activist. I want to serve humanity.
Wow.
Rajuji, look at the population in the SAARC countries 1.8 billion.
Yeah.
And we are a very large population in the entire world. लेकिन हमारा क्या कंपैरिजन है अमेरिका के साथ और यूरोप के साथ आप देखिए ना वी आर डिप्राइव्ड एंड वी आर सो डिप्राइव्ड बिकॉज वी आर कॉन्स्टेंटली फाइटिंग ऑन द बॉर्डर्स
Exactly.
हम एक दूसरे को सपोर्ट नहीं दे रहे सो मैं आई वांट टू वर्क नाउ across borders, across boundaries. I want to serve women, children, and the less privileged in society without seeing and without looking at the color of their passports. वहां पहुंचे ना जहां हमारी जरूरत है और ये
Exactly.
लाइन हमें सिखाता है ये सबक मैंने लाइनिज्म से सीखा है
बेसिकली नीलोफर आप और हम दोनों उस लैंड से बिलोंग करते हैं जो कभी भाई बहन की तरह एक साथ रहा करते थे. अनफॉर्चुनेटली व्हाट एवर द पॉलिटिकल रीजंस आर कि आज हम एक दूसरे के देश में जाने के लिए हेजिटेट होते हैं या वीजाज नहीं मिलते हैं. हम आपको मिस करते हैं, आप हमें मिस करते हैं और हम आ जा नहीं सकते. वो सिचुएशन हम वापस कब और कैसे ला सकते हैं इन कहीं ना कहीं लाइनिज्म के थ्रू या किसी और एनजीओ के थ्रू.
जी इसीलिए राजू जी जब मैं गवर्नमेंट में थी तो तब भी मैंने बहुत कोशिश की और आई ट्रैवल टू इंडिया विद द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ पाकिस्तान फॉर अ क्रिकेट डिप्लोमेसी मैच और जो कुछ मैं पुश कर सकती थी बीइंग अ पार्ट ऑफ द कैबिनेट आई डिड बट जो इश्यूज हैं बिटवीन दीज कंट्रीज दे आर बियॉन्ड अस वो
I
हमारे आपके बस में नहीं है
I
सो
swear.
हम यही कर सकते हैं कि हम सेल्फलेसली अपनी कम्युनिटीज़ को सर्व करें और जब हम बिगर कॉजेस पे काम करें तो हम ये ना देखें कि ये सैलाब कहाँ से आया है या ये सैलाब किसको बहा के ले जा रहा है अब देखिए व्हेन आई वाज इंटरनेशनल डायरेक्टर एंड देयर वाज एन अर्थक्वेक इन अहमदाबाद आई हैड लैंडेड इन इंडिया and with the earthquake grant, whatever had come to me from Lions International,
Right,
and
yeah.
also the plane load from Pakistan.
That's right.
And I was very well received by the Lions of Ahmedabad, I remember. More than the government of India, I was received by the Lions of Ahmedabad.
Of course, naturally.
And there was so much admiration and love and respect that I received. And people in Pakistan thought that, I would be shunned and thrown out of India, but it didn't happen. So अगर आपका दिल साफ है और अगर आप सोचते हैं कि ये काम आप ह्यूमैनिटी के लिए कर रहे हैं, तो आई थिंक इफ अदर पर्सन इज ऑल्सो ह्यूमन बीइंग, ही वुड अंडरस्टैंड दैट.
100%, 100%। एंड नीलोफर, आपको तो प्यार करने वाले बहुत हैं इंडिया में, बहुत मिस करते हैं। मैं कहीं भी हिंदुस्तान के किसी भी डिस्ट्रिक्ट में जाता हूँ, बिलीव मी, I think so we got an opportunity with each other for the few of the district to install together, and they still
Yes.
miss. वो आज भी कहते हैं कि राजू भाई प्लीज एक बार नीलोफर जी को वापस लेके आइए। मैं कहाँ से लेके जाऊँ नीलोफर को हिंदुस्तान?
राजू
यार
जी, शायद हमारी लाइफ टाइम में ऐसा हो जाए कि मैं और आप दोनों एक मर्तबा फिर स्टेज पे खड़े हों.
आई
पर
स्वेयर,
आप मुझसे ज्यादा अच्छा बोलते थे, ये मुझे फिर नाराजगी भी होती थी, गुस्सा.
शेरों शायरियों के अंदर मैं आपको टच नहीं कर सकता था। ठीक है, बातचीत करने का एक अलग वो होता है, लेकिन
यू
आप
स्पीक
नीलोफर,
सो वेल.
आपके जुबान में जो सरस्वती है, मतलब बिलीव मी, यू स्पीक सो वेल. I wish that somebody can invite you on Zoom or StreamYard to install their district or something, and they will come to know the what Nilofer Bakhtiar is. I
No,
salute
but
you
I
because
will come. I
yeah,
will come back soon because now I'm not in the government, so it's a little easier when you're not in government job. You can probably get the visa. I'll make an attempt. I hope I can get it.
please. First of all, I will start calling you in my district, my multiple, our Bombay, that you must come and do something over here. Like we'll love to see you over here.
Thank you. And you have to come to Pakistan, Raju ji.
Love to.
It is
I
my
love
wish
to.
and desire.
मैं पिछले 3 साल से आपके डिस्ट्रिक्ट गवर्नर नूर साहब से मिलने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन अनफॉर्चुनेटली हम लोग मिल ही नहीं पा रहे हैं। मैं कितनी
Noor,
बार या आपके
actually, Noor should be watching this right now.
या
I'm sure Noor is there.
या
And
यस
हम आपको कराची के जो इंस्टॉलेशन है नूर की, वो तो हो चुकी है.
जी जी,
उसमें मनोज शाह जी आए थे
वेरी गुड,
फ्रॉम अफ्रीका.
वेरी
लेकिन हम उनकी जो कन्वेंशन है उस पर आपको इनवाइट करें, राजू जी.
great honor for me to come and see the my Ladkana to my Sindh. I'm missing like
जबरदस्त.
anything.
I will take you to लाड़काना.
Great. Nilofar ji, we would like to know, our audience would like to know, the पाकिस्तान में कितने लायंस हैं, कितने डिस्ट्रिक्ट हैं, और अब मुझे लगता है 1 2 3 3 past international directors now from Pakistan. Would you like to give some detail to the alliance about the Pakistan Lionism?
जी, Pakistan is MD 305
Correct.
and we have 3 districts.
Okay.
I belong to 305 and 2. This is the north.
That's
North
right.
has 2. So N1 and N2.
Okay.
जो N1 के पास्ट इंटरनेशनल डायरेक्टर हैं वो मियाँ इदरीस हैं. He is the recent pass from Pakistan.
Correct.
He's from Faisalabad.
That's right.
And then from south, that's the 3rd district in Pakistan, we have Khudabaksh ji, and he's from Karachi.
Correct.
So he belongs to your province, that is
That's
Sindh.
Correct.
I live in Islamabad in the north, next to the mountains. So
Okay.
when you come, you have to come to the mountains also.
I'll come all the 3 PIDs. Of course, I love to see them, and I love to see my governors and the Lions family, as well as my grandparents, Ladkhan and all. I love to come and see it sometime, if God
Wow.
willing. That's good.
And I hope you can come with a big delegation of Lions.
100%. Definitely.
This harmony and friendship is actually the soul of Lionism. And it is now lacking. It is so unfortunate, really.
Honestly, Nilofar, I must tell you that we love each other like so much. I never seen that kind of hatred in we Lions or we public of the Hindustan and Pakistan. I don't know, whatever the leaders are going to do it, as you said rightly, is beyond from us. We can't help it over there. Otherwise, we wanted to see each other in same manner what we used to stay together like that. Anyhow, अगर वापस एक बार आपको चांस मिले राजनीति में जाने का, नीलोफर, तो आप क्या डिसीजन लेंगी?
देखिए, मैं बहुत ज़्यादा चाहती हूँ कि मैं गर्ल्स एजुकेशन पे काम करूँ. दैट्स माय डिज़ायर नाउ, बिकॉज मुझे ये समझ आई है, राजू जी, मैंने सारा काम करके देखा. मैंने वायलेंस अगेंस्ट वुमेन पे काम किया, मैंने बहुत सारे और चीज़ें करके, टूरिज़्म और स्पेशल एजुकेशन, सब कुछ किया है. लेकिन मैं ये समझती हूँ कि एजुकेशन इज़ द की.
Of course.
If we educate our masses, और अगर लड़की को लड़के के बराबर लाना है तो उसको तालीम देनी है, और लड़कियों को अगर हम दबा के रखेंगे, उसको अगर हम पढ़ने नहीं देंगे, उसके हम पर काट देंगे, उसको उड़ने नहीं देंगे, तो फिर हमारी लड़कियां ख्वाब कैसे देखेंगी?
वेरी ट्रू।
और मैं अपनी लड़कियों के ख्वाब पूरे करना चाहती हूँ। मैं चाहती हूँ कि वो अगर पायलट बनना चाहती हैं, आसमान पे उड़ना चाहती हैं, तो उड़े। सो उनको पढ़ाना है। So this time, if I get a chance to be in the parliament again, and if they ask me which ministry I want, I would pick up the Ministry of Education.
My region chairperson is saying that the one of my club in our region conference represented you as a look like what she was having, like executive officers, international directors. So she made one of the line lady as a Nilofer Bakhtiar, and she came to our region conference. That she
Okay.
is the girl, like who is. Anyhow, thank you very much, Sima. Uh,
That's so sweet.
my young leader Navdeep is getting very excited. Please, sir, give me a chance. Let me speak to her. Let me speak to her. Navdeep, please come on the screen. Next 15-20 minutes is yours. Whatever questions you would like to ask her, ask her. But believe me, Navdeep, you are too late. You are meeting her
No,
after
no,
very
but
late.
but you spoke so well when he was introducing me. He's a good
Yeah,
speaker.
now wait and watch. I'm telling you, he has represented the Isami as a speaker and hosting the Isami part with Sunil. And
Wow.
he's a national player of tennis. He's our incoming leader of my Lions Club Mumbai Soul. He has completed all the DLLI, RLLI, and all this completely. Now he's going for the FDI. So now
Wow.
over to Navdeep. Navdeep, you and Nilofar. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Raj. So, firstly, Nilofer ma'am, it's an absolute honor for me to be hosting you today in whatever capacity I may be able to do. So, whilst I was actually preparing a profile today, it was exceptionally inspirational, honestly, for me to kind of like do the introduction because I had to cut down too many number of points in terms of what I wanted to mention. But I hope I did justice to what your exceptional professional existence has been. Uh, Moving on to right away to the questions in terms of what I had prepared. You obviously assumed the first female international directorship from 1999 to 2000. If I get right to the point of the international directorship, obviously I'll go back in time after that. If I would like you to, kind of just basically highlight some of the most significant achievements and challenges that you had during your leadership, what would they be? Now, my pertinent understanding in terms of asking this question, obviously, is you getting right to the top of the international directorship was in itself a huge achievement, the first female to get there. So obviously there must have been a lot of challenges as well as a lot of things that you must have seen when you obviously went on and joined the board. So if you could just like to highlight some of the major achievements that you thought during your time and some of the challenges that you faced.
Well, at that time, it was very, very challenging because I was to be the first, and to bring on the board a female for the first time in the history of Lions International, and that too from a country like Pakistan. This was the thought coming from the top of Lions leadership. I'm going to be very blunt now. Some people may not like it, but it was a no no. And they had small worries, like would she be able to shake hands with the public because she's a Muslim? And would she be able to travel because she has small children? I was very young then, and my youngest was in the pram when I made the first attempt to get to the board, and they didn't like it. And I thought that if I had the commitment to go through the entire election campaign as a pregnant woman, and I had the courage to carry my little baby to the international convention, they would honor me for that, and they would consider me as a very brave candidate from Pakistan. But that was not the case. That went against me. So that put me down a little. But then I stood up again and I said, I will fight this. I'm a female candidate, and I have to tell the world that females can do it despite having a family. And my family supported me, my husband supported me, my children were there all along. So this was the first hurdle that I faced. The second was that in Lions, unfortunately, at that time it was not so severe, but now it's becoming worse. Money played a major part during the election campaign. So, and I came from a middle class background. So that was a hindrance. Spending tons of money going across the world asking for votes was not easy for me. So during my campaign, I had to raise funds in order to travel to other countries. For example, I went to Japan for the forum there, and I went to many other countries of the world. So all this needed a lot of financial resources also. But coming back to the situation, with the support of my lions at home and the SAARC countries, the major support came from India. I would like to repeat here, I made it. And I made it only because they finally got convinced Lions Clubs International that this woman was not going to give up. And she was there to be there, and contest the elections. So when they realized that, they said, okay, let her come. So, but then even then, I had to have an election. There was an election. There was a candidate against me because they somehow decided in my favor, like the board normally does. In my favor, the decision was taken at a very late stage. So there was already a candidate pitched against me. He refused to withdraw. So I had to fight. But I won finally. And if I had lost then, it would have been a very big discouragement for the women of the world. And no woman for many, many years later on would not have dared to do this. So I'm glad I did it, and I'm also happy that I won for the sake of other women who followed after me.
Absolutely, I think that's beautifully put, and hats off and congratulations to you. I mean, as you correctly put, also while talking to Raju sir, that a lot of women have now gotten into the international presidentship also, and have been international directors coming every single year. Moving on and following up to this particular point itself, but even today, despite all the evolution that we see and the flamboyance that we see amongst women working at brilliant levels when it comes to, especially when it comes to club levels or district or multiple, they are there and doing it at the best of their abilities. And most of the portfolios that are given to women, I believe, are pretty much rest assured to the leaders that they don't have to look at those portfolios because they're taken care of beautifully. uh, but when it comes to actually taking the leap of when you're working at a club level, so becoming club president, or when you're working at a district, so becoming district governor, and when you're working at the multiple, so becoming the multiple council chairperson, even in today's day and age, ma'am, we see, if you look at the globalized ratio, we see very less number of women taking part or taking the gigantic leap. What, according to you, are the major problems? And you being someone who set the example, what would you say to the women in today's day and age to kind of resolve those issues and just get out there and take up leadership positions? Because I believe it's extremely important for lions as well as leos around the world.
My take would be that women need to understand that this kind of situation can arise in anything that they take up in life, in their professional lives also they face this. So why worry about this when you are a lion? You have to compete with the men and come forward. That's about it. You have to be there, and persistence is the key. If you just leave it halfway, you back off because somebody was a little rude to you, the remark of the gentleman across the table was a little rude or crude, you ignore it. You should focus on your position that you have to reach tomorrow. So I've seen it, when a woman aspires to be the governor, it's not easy. There are always people within their own group of friends who oppose them. And sometimes it's the women around them. The unfortunate part is this. So, one, I would urge the women leaders that At times, you have to support other leaders in order to pave the way for one of them to reach up to the top. All of them cannot make it at the same time. And my advice to the women leaders is that once they reach to the top, they should not forget the women left behind, the ones who helped them reach that spot. What happens is, and this I've seen in politics also, that once they reach the top, they get so busy competing with the men that they forget that their main constituency still remains to be the women. So if you forget those women and you just want to be amongst the top leadership where they're all men and you want to shine as a star, it's not fair. So women leaders also have to play their part to promote other women to come up, and men also have to open up their hearts and minds. And they have to understand that in today's world, nothing can function without the role of women. Unless we engage women in this organization or any other field and walk of life, whether it is the Air Force, for example, the armed forces, hospitals, courtrooms, wherever you see them, it's the women who are making a lot of noise and who are winning all the credit. And if we keep on ignoring them, if we keep on sidelining these women, the country, the entire development can get affected. So I think in the walk that we are, walk of life that we have, the pace that our countries have in the Committee of Worlds today, we are slightly lagging behind the countries from the SAARC. It is only because our women are not given the space that the other countries are giving. If we were treated as equals, these countries would have a different face today. This would be a different world. So, Lionism is not the only area where women are being ignored and are not given their due place and honor. It's everywhere. And things have to change everywhere, and men and women together can do it. And we need more people like yourself who can be the heroes, who can be the ambassadors for women's empowerment. Because women alone cannot change the complexion of the world. It's our sons, our husbands, our friends, our bosses who can eventually do it for us. I'm sorry, my
Um,
answers are wrong. I'm sure
no,
you
I
have
think
many questions. You can
I
stop.
think that's beautifully put once again. I think it's a fantastic answer, and obviously, coming from someone who's already been an ambassador and has showcased and paved the way for everyone. I think it's beautiful. Moving on to something a little more interesting, I believe, especially with you, ma'am, having spent more than 4 decades into Lionism. You've seen if I may say so, the analog era also, when everything used to be, done physically. The paper submissions, the MMAR submissions, everything used to be physical and analog at one point in time. And then came obviously the digitization age, post which in today's day and age, we've got My Lions, we've got Lions Portal, we've got the app where everything's just available on the click. Uh, you being such an experienced individual, you having had the experience of going to the United States and then looking at the Western world, also having an education which is from outside, uh, and with such a diverse background, how do you perceive Lionism on a whole has evolved in these last 4 decades, and do you think it's going in the right direction?
I think whatever the Lions International is doing today is fantastic as an organization. And that is probably the reason why we are recognized as the world's number one service organization. Look at our service portals, look at our membership, look at our international conventions. You can't compare them with any other NGO. And our Lions training schools, our governors training sessions, They are extremely, extremely motivating, and they teach you to be the leaders in any field of life later on. It's not just Lions that they train you and prepare you for. So it's a huge organization, and Lions International has built us all up. Though we are living in different countries of the world, we are spread all across the globe, but they've kept us together. One service commitment they give, and the entire world follows that commitment. And things are so much easier now. In our days, when I was a district governor, I used to send my reports and used to receive them back after months. We used to be waiting for our telephone calls, and even the telephone system at that time was not so good. But today, everything is available by one click. So things are much easier now. You young lions must understand that our time faced a lot of hardships. And even then, we survived as very, very strong lions communities. Today, it's much easier. The world has become so close, and you can now easily travel to the international conventions, to the regional forums, and to the other training sessions across wherever you can. So I think Lions International is now an organization where it's all volunteers, but the volunteers are so motivated and so charged that they are ready to do anything. Whenever there is a disaster, a calamity, a challenge in any part of the world, they just stand up for each other. This is not a small commitment. And this is only because we have been trained as lions and as leos. So I give full marks to this organization because whatever I am today, basically my schooling has come from Lions International.
100%. I think that's once again an absolutely A1 answer. Ma'am, I would like to address something which is a very big and globalized ongoing problem in today's day and age. We are in the midst of a huge globalized demographic change. When I say demographic, it's pertinent to age, of course, which is a huge, huge thing. When it comes to the demographic allocation of a lot of things, even in Lions International, it's changed massively. India being one of the places, or if I may say so, Constitutional Area 6 being one of the places which is now, leading the organization in terms of population of members, in terms of the amount of activities being done. Uh, Although what we see in the organization even today is the lack of change of curriculum when it comes to a lot of things which have been done in today's day and age. For example, even the Lions Leadership Institutes or the LLC courses, uh, we still see a lot of girth when it comes to access to all these institutes in these places, and also the addressal of the core issues when it comes to certain constitutional areas which are very different to other constitutional areas. Do you think there is even a space for some sort of customizations to take place when it comes to different constitutional areas, so that the organization can overall cater to all the constitutional areas in the best possible manner and also in their own capacity?
I think your question is very, very important, and I have always felt that need because customized activities, customized training is the key. And I think Lions International now understands, for example, at the Governors Elect School, now they have started running classes in Hindi, and the Hindi classes are also attended by governors from Pakistan, for example, and Nepal, because they also same almost the same language. Because if you start training a governor in a language he does not understand, what's the point? So I think something similar needs to be done to these other activities by Lions International. But like other organizations of the world, the ideas and thoughts keep coming in, but action, does not take place at that very moment. But there are changes, I tell you, in the modules, for instance. The training modules are being changed according to the different regions of the world. And whenever I'm there, I raise a voice because I say that our needs are different from the needs of the American states, for example. You know, they do not know that we have places in our parts of the world where for 2 to 3 days there's no electricity, there's no running hot and cold water. So they can't understand the kind of emergencies, the dearth of amenities that we face. And especially, I have forced them and requested them many times that they should start talking about women's rights, because this is a major issue in our part of the world. Look at the infant mortality rate, for example, the mother's mortality rate. These are the issues that we are facing. Our mothers die during pregnancy and childbirth. Our little babies die in the womb of the mothers. So we understand the pain and the sorrow. They don't. They can't because they've never faced it. So I agree with you. Things have to change, and but things will gradually change. We can't just expect them to understand. There are countries of the world where the international family cannot travel. Pakistan is one of those countries. Normally, when the international president is from America, they cannot come to Pakistan because there is a security issue. So then the gap becomes bigger and bigger. This time, Vice President Manoj Shah could come because he's from Africa. So he could get clearance and he could get a visa and he could come. Many of our governors from India and Pakistan do not get a visa to attend the governor elect school in America. You see that happening every year. So these are the issues and challenges that Lions International is also facing. And gradually, with this high tech, that we can have Zoom meetings, we can have interviews, we can have calls and activities, uh, which are much easier now. But even then, I feel strongly that each region needs to have its own identity and has to be treated in the same manner.
Surely, I think that's beautifully put once again, ma'am. Uh, Two or three more very pertinent questions, obviously, on what you've actually commented. Firstly, I would love to know, your perspective on the Leos. These 4 decades that you've been in the system, it's not only the Lions that you've seen prolifer, but you've actually seen the Leos grow also, and they've grown in massive counts. They're more than 150,000 now around the world. Uh, Most of them coming obviously again from the CA6 area. My question to you is broken into two parts. One, obviously, how do you see the Leo movement evolving in these last 4 decades, and where do you see them going? And secondly, when it comes to Leos, a lot of times, especially in our part of the countries, we see that the Leos from the age of 18 to 30 are subjected to Leoism, but they don't end up converting into Lionism, especially in today's day and age. They don't end up converting into Lionism, probably because obviously there are various other options. They don't come from the age where social service comes very naturally to them. But even then, do you think there are lack of opportunities for Leos, especially when it comes to leadership, and grooming them at an early age so that they convert into Lionism, because of which the conversion is lacking? Your perspective now.
I think Leos basically is the nursery from where we have to pick up our, plants and seeds and take them further. If we don't work on them, it'll be a major setback for any Lions district or multiple district. For me, Leo leaders are extremely important. And whether they join Lions International later on or not, at some stage in life, they do come back to the organization. This is what I've seen. If there is a gap in service, because look at the financial status of our population. Our young population naturally wants to go and earn the right kind of money to serve their families first. That is a priority. You can serve other communities and other people only if you are well served yourself. So at that age, it's not easy for all of these Leos to come back and start functioning as line leaders. But there should be a system to get them back, engage them once they're well settled in life. So I keep reminding the districts always that they should not forget their Leo clubs. Once they leave their Leo clubs and they go out in the real world, they must be kept connected. They should be invited to the activities of Lions, special occasions, special days, conventions. They should be invited and treated as special guests. And if you keep that contact with them, sooner or later they do realize that this is an association which they would like to be in. So they will come back. But if we invest so much in them as Leos and then lose them altogether and then let them go out in the world, some other organization would pick them up. And I tell you, once a Leo is always a Leo at heart. That boy or girl would go out, serve in any other organization, but also continue with his service, with her service activities. Would never forget, if a real Leo is trained properly, that memory is going to be carried with him or her throughout his life. So I insist that Lions districts should keep a follow up, a permanent address. They should have a record where they know which Leo is doing what in life later on after leaving the Leo club. And then keep a tab, follow up on them, invite them, and you will retain your membership also. And these Leos, if they come back as Lion members, I tell you, they will beat the other regular Lions. Sometimes the Lions also get a little worried and bogged down when they see too much leadership emerging. So I tell them, don't. New leadership always has to come back and replace the old leadership. This is how the world functions. You know, the sons take the place of the fathers, and you can't just remain there forever. So the doors should be opened, and we should allow the leadership to emerge, and we
Absolutely.
should protect them till they grow up into full trees. They're little seeds and plants. So with our affection and with our love and with our tender support, they, I'm sure, would grow up and give shadow to the entire world of Lionism.
The biggest
I'm getting
complaint.
emotional, Majuji. As usual, Nilafar Bakhtiar is getting carried away, and I'm so sorry about this young fellow that you've given to me. Because when I talk, I talk like, I have all the time in the world. So, did you have any more questions for me?
Yeah. The biggest complaints I'm getting from all over the India and world, बेचारे वो जो हिंदी भाषी वाले वो बोलते हैं हमें नीलोफर जी की हिंदी बहुत अच्छी लगती है लेकिन नवदीप हिंदी में बात क्यों नहीं करते.
ये
So they are,
लड़का सारी की सारी अंग्रेजी बोल रहा है, मैं क्या करूं?
ये भी फॉरेन का, आप भी फॉरेन के, दो फॉरेनर्स के बीच में
नहीं,
शुगर है.
हिंदी
या आप हिंदी बहुत अच्छा बोलती हैं और मुझे पता है सब लोग कह रहे हैं कि वी वुड लाइक टू, बिकॉज ऑफ द नॉर्थ इंडियन आर इन लव विथ यू, यू नो दैट वेरी वेल एंड दे लव टू लिसन टू यू. वो बेचारे थोड़ा आपकी हिंदी भाषा को बहुत ज्यादा प्यार करते हैं.
जी, मैं अब हिंदी बोलूंगी, हिंदी में सवाल करो.
ऑलराइट, शुक्र है कि नवदीप आपको 99 और 2000 में नहीं मिला, वरना पता नहीं उस बेचारे का क्या हाल होता था. नवदीप, थैंक गॉड,
ये बहुत
बिकॉज
शैतान है, ये इतना शैतान लड़का है ना कि मैं इसका क्या करूं.
because Nilofer was one of the, I must tell you, God bless her, that not only the beauty, but the what a brain what she got and what dedication. I told you, she is mind blowing, no doubt about it. Nilofer ji, I'm sure that this young leader of my club, going to be the district leader, going to be the maybe international leader also,
इंशाल्लाह.
for his quality, or he was so impressed to you, he was so excited from last so many days. God that Nilofer ji is coming today for the interview, but I'm sorry Navdeep, मैंने थोड़ा ज़्यादा वक्त ले लिया लेकिन वो जरूरी भी था. नीलोफर जी, हम दुआ करेंगे कि बहुत जल्दी हमारे हिंदुस्तान और पाकिस्तान के रिलेशन वापस ऐसे हो जाए कि हम आपस में आते जाते रहें। हम बहुत आपके लीडर्स, पाकिस्तान के लीडर्स को मिस करते हैं, चाहे वो खुदा बख्श जी हों। मिलना होता है तो हमें जाके दुबई में ईसावी फोरम में मुलाकात होती है, और या इंटरनेशनल कन्वेंशन में मुलाकात होती है, और कहीं कहीं अगर मिस कर जाते हैं तो सालों का गैप हो जाता है। हम चाहेंगे कि ये वक्त जल्दी आए। लायनिज्म के अलावा, और ये जो आपकी हॉबीज आपने बताई, जो ह्यूमैनिटेरियन सर्विसेज के अंदर और गर्ल्स एजुकेशन के बारे में आप ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट लेना चाहते हैं, अगर आपको नीलोफर हिंदुस्तान में बुलाया जाए और हिंदुस्तान की राजनीति में इन्वॉल्व किया जाए तो आपके व्यूज क्या होंगे?
मैं सबसे पहले तो ये कोशिश करूंगी कि हिंदुस्तान और पाकिस्तान आपस में दोस्त बन जाए, ताकि हम जैसे लायंस जो हैं वो इतने अकेले ना पड़ जाएं। और मैं कोशिश करूंगी कि लड़ाइयाँ और जंग हो जाए, ख़त्म हो जाए, और पाकिस्तान और हिंदुस्तान सेहत में, तालीम में इतने आगे बढ़ जाएं कि अमेरिका और यूरोप हमें देखते ही रह जाए।
ये अंग्रेज लोग हम दोनों को अलग करके चले गए और खुद वहां एंजॉय कर रहे हैं, और हम लोग बैठ करके 70 साल से एक दूसरे के लिए तरस रहे हैं। वेरी
आप
सैड। आई एम
ठीक कह
श्योर,
रहे हो, ठीक
आई एम
कह रहे
श्योर
हो।
कि वक्त। आपकी हॉबीज के बारे में कुछ बोलना चाहेंगी आप?
राजू जी, मेरी हॉबीज़ सबसे ज़्यादा तो म्यूज़िक में है। मैं सबसे ज़्यादा खुश अच्छी म्यूज़िक से होती हूँ। अच्छा ड्रामा देख के होती हूँ, अच्छी फ़िल्म देख के होती हूँ। हिंदुस्तानी मूवीज़ मेरा पैशन है, मेरी मोहब्बत है, आपको पता है। जब मैं हिंदुस्तान में होती हूँ, मैं 2 जगह पाई जाती हूँ। एक चाट की दुकान पे, और एक हिंदुस्तान के सिनेमा हाउसेस में। मुझे ढूँढना हो तो अशोक जी कहते थे, याद है ना आपको, नीलोफर को ढूँढना
जी
है
जी।
तो जाके तो कहीं गोलगप्पे खा रही होगी।
आई
तो
स्वेयर।
मेरे तो ये शौक है, आपको पता है।
तो मतलब अगर मुझे आना पड़ा, क्योंकि आपकी बातचीत के बाद नूर साहब का फोन आ गया, मुझे जल्दी पासपोर्ट भेजो। अब अगर
आ
मैं
गया?
पासपोर्ट, जी जी, तो मुझे लगता है कि मुझे पासपोर्ट के साथ कम से कम एक डब्बा पानी पूरी का भी बना के भेजना पड़ेगा कि जा रहे हैं तो आपको भी।
नहीं नहीं, वो तो मैं एक लंबी लिस्ट दूंगी राजू जी आपको। मुझे हिंदुस्तान से बहुत सी चीजें मंगवानी है, और इसको लेके आना। अच्छा, ये बड़ा
जी,
क्यूट है।
ना ना, नवदीप को पक्का लेके आऊंगा। नवदीप हमारी पूरी टीम के था, हम 10-12 लोग आएंगे, अगर मौका मिल गया
ओके,
तो हम सब 10-12
ओके,
लोग मिल करके आएंगे। 100%।
ठीक।
क्या ग्रेट मैसेज आप लायंस और लियोस ऑफ द वर्ल्ड हु आर लिसनिंग टू यू वुड लाइक टू गिव इट टू देम? नूर साहब कह रहे हैं कि ये अंग्रेजी शब्द ना हम दोनों को डिवाइड कर डालता है। देख लो नवदीप, हमारे गवर्नर साहब की भी वही कंप्लेन है। जी।
मेरी लायंस और लियो से सिर्फ एक ही दरखास्त है पूरी दुनिया के, कि इस वक्त दुनिया में बहुत लड़ाई है, बहुत जंग व जदल है। उसको लायंस ने अपनी मोहब्बत से और अपनी खिदमत से ख़त्म करना है। और हमारा काम सिर्फ एक है, हम सर्विस के लिए हैं। तो सर्व करें एक दूसरे को, और इतना प्यार और इतनी मोहब्बत बांटें कि इस दुनिया से ये जो जंग के अंधेरे हैं ये ख़त्म हो जाएं, और आसमान से जब भी बारिश हो, मोहब्बत की बारिश हो, और उस बारिश से इतने फूल खिलें कि पूरी दुनिया में बहार आ जाए।
नवदीप, यू कैन सी दैट व्हेन शी टॉक्स, ऐसा लगता है कि ठंडी हवाएं चल रही हैं, और क्या क्लाइमेट है, और किस तरह की बातें करती है। अगर कभी आपको मौका मिला नवदीप, अगर कभी एक प्लेटफॉर्म पे फिर वापस हम दोनों एक साथ आ गए अगर नीलोफर और मैं, तो आप देखना कि हम लोगों का इंस्टॉलेशन करने का तरीका और नीलोफर जी का शेरो शायरों का तरीका, माहौल वैसा बन जाता है कि मतलब पिन ड्रॉप साइलेंट होकर के लोग एंजॉय करते हैं। पता नहीं अब वो मौका कब आएगा, बट एनी हाउ, योर फेवरेट एक्टर फ्रॉम इंडिया?
देखिए, जब मैं हिंदुस्तान आई थी और एक दफ़ा अवार्ड सेरेमनी थी, तो मुझसे उन्होंने पूछा कि आपको कौन अवार्ड दे। आपके बहुत
जी
सारे फिल्म इंडस्ट्री के लोग खड़े थे।
जी।
तो मैंने उस वक्त दिलीप कुमार जी को चूज़ किया था।
हाँ।
और मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा जब उन्होंने वो अवार्ड मुझे दिया। वो बॉम्बे ही था, और मैं कभी वो लम्हा भूल नहीं सकती। मेरे
शुक्र है।
दिल में आज भी वो लम्हा है मौजूद। और कितनी मोहब्बत से उन्होंने मुझे दिया, और उन्होंने मुझे कहा कि मेरा एक घर है पेशावर में,
जी।
तो आप टूरिज्म मिनिस्टर हैं। मैं उस वक्त टूरिज्म मिनिस्टर थी। तो
यस,
उन्होंने कहा
करेक्ट।
आप घर का कुछ कीजिएगा। तो फिर राजू जी, जब मैं वापस आई तो मैंने गवर्नमेंट में मूव किया कि उनके घर को रिकंस्ट्रक्ट किया जाए, और
जी
फिर
जी
वो
जी।
हुआ है, उनका घर
वाह।
रिकंस्ट्रक्ट। जी, तो बस ये छोटी छोटी यादें हैं इस तरह की। तो
ये मतलब आप
दिलीप
मिली, लेकिन आप
मेरे दिल
सारा
में,
बात मिली।
सायरा बानो जी वहां उनके साथ डिनर किया, टेबल पे दोनों बैठे थे।
तो कह रहे कि आप
और
सारा बानू
सायरा
के बाद उनसे
खूबसूरती अगर देखें और आवाज, कितना मीठा बोलती हैं वो सायरा जी, तो
नो
क्या
डाउट।
बात। और
और
अगर
हमारे
एक्टिंग की आप बात करें तो रेखा जी
ओ
इज माय फेवरेट, एंड अमिताभ बच्चन इज माय ड्रीम बॉय।
ये हमारा अमिताभ बच्चन तो नवदीप है। नीलोफर
ठीक
जी,
है,
आप हमारे
क्या
पाकिस्तान
बात।
की रेखा हैं। Honestly, I'll tell you, we admire you just because of that your graciousness and your I mean a way of working. आज भी आपके बात करने का तरीका, सलीका, वो नवदीप की आंखें नीचे तक नहीं हो रही है। You can see that, like, you know, that's really a fantastic. Thank you
राजू
so
जी, अब मैं
much.
अपने ग्रोइंग ओल्ड नाउ, आई एम अ ग्रैंड मदर, पता है आपको ये बात?
मैं भी हूँ, तो क्या हो गया? दिलीप कुमार भी उस वक्त ग्रैंडफादर होते जब आप उनसे मिली थी। वो कोई बात नहीं हुई है। यानी आपको
आई
पता ही नहीं
मिस यू
चला।
ऑल वेरी मच, आई मिस यू।
1 घंटा कैसे निकल गया पता ही नहीं चला। आई स्वेयर, ये
यस,
दिस इज द टाइम आपके साथ ऐसा निकलता है। नवदीप, वॉट ऑफ थैंक्स करिए, हम नीलोफर जी को रुखसार करेंगे।
Sure, also. Well, Nilofer ma'am, it's been an absolute honor for me to have had this wonderful dialogue with you. बहुत सारे अमेजिंग पल हमने डिस्कस किए। आई बिलीव ये सारी चीज़ें जो लम्हे की बात आपने करी, वो लम्हा आज जो हमारे शो पर हो वो मैं भी नहीं भूल पाऊंगा। इट्स बीन फैबुलस टॉकिंग टू यू। जिस तरीके के हम लोगों ने, सब लोगों ने, इनफैक्ट राजू सर ऑल्सो, द काइंड ऑफ एक्सचेंजेस दैट वी हैव हैड जस्ट शोकेसेस की दोनों कंट्रीज में और दोनों लोगों में कितनी ज़्यादा लव एंड हारमोनी है। And I believe it just needs to go on at a bigger level. We are all looking forward to the fact that all of us will have more access to each other, and उसके बाद ज़्यादा मिलना हो पाए और ज़्यादा exchange of ideas भी हो पाए. And I would look forward and urge Raju sir also to have a full-fledged only women's episode that can feature Nilofer ma'am, and she can obviously take a lead in that also to help the global lionesses of the world. Thank you so much once again, ma'am. It's been an absolute honor.
Nadeep, please be there on the backstage with me for a minute. Nilofarji, thank you so much for being with us, and believe me, like, we enjoyed like anything. And one of the most memorable episode today with Nadeep and me, we will always cherish with us. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, sir. ये थी हमारी ऑनरेबल इंटरनेशनल डायरेक्टर लायंस क्लब इंटरनेशनल फ्रॉम सिंध पाकिस्तान, नीलोफर जी। और कल रात को 8 बजे मैं फिर आपसे मुलाकात करूंगा VSS शो एपिसोड नंबर 999, और जिसके अंदर हमारे ऑनरेबल गेस्ट होंगे गुणवंत सिंह जी कोठारी सर। तब तक के लिए मैं आपसे आगे जाऊंगा। शुभ रात्रि, गुड नाइट एंड जय हिंद।